Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Don't kill me, man! Don't kill me! Don't kill me, man!
I'm not going to kill you. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
What are you?
I'm Batman.
We like Batman.
We like Batman.
We watch Batman. We consume
All of the Batman.
so much Batman.
All the Batman. I think you're going to be more versed in the Batman comic sides of things.
That's fine because we're mostly doing. I can bring backstory,
Sure.
but we're watching stuff,
We're watching Batman.
and you can too.
That's the show. Tom and Jeff watch Batman?
Yeah,
Is that what we're going to call it?
We don't know what the title is going to be yet.
But that's what we're going to do.
Our working title is Tom and Jeff watch Batman stuff.
And that's what
Watch things with Batman in it.
we aim to do. We're going to watch all the movies. We're going to watch the animated series.
Maybe at some point in time we'll watch that ninja anime that came out.
Some Batman anime. The 60s show. We're gonna sink our bat teeth into all that good stuff. And I figured we should start with Tim Burton's Batman, 1989 Batman.
The cultural revival of Batman.
Right. The beginning of modern superhero films, I think, and really the beginning of like solidifying nerd culture as a bankable thing.
Merchandising. I mean, summer of 1989, you couldn't take 3 steps without seeing Batman merch.
1989 Batman is a legendary thing in the industry in terms of merchandising. I think there's probably been a book written about it. I did a lot of research for it for a video I made one time.
It's also it also is the precursor of massive nerd rage that you see now on the internet everywhere.
It was one of the first. It's to my knowledge, it's the first example of like Comic-Con fan reaction influencing a film because they cast Jack Nicholson based on fan interest.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The Robin Williams to Jack Nicholson story to me has always been.
What's that story?
They basically told Robin Williams that he could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they used that as a leveraging tool to Jack Nicholson. And that's why Robin Williams I think he had like an embargo working. He wouldn't work with Warner for a while after that.
They burned him twice in Batman, I know, because they also they did the same thing to him with the Riddler.
Well, I think they offered him the Riddler and then he said no because he was still burnt about the Joker.
Yeah.
There's something about that. I remember watching that in one of the Robin Williams documentaries and being like, man, fuck studio execs.
And I remember after The Dark Knight came out, and while there were still rumors swirling about what the third Christopher Nolan Batman movie was going to be, there were rumors that the Riddler was going to be the villain, and there were, again, Robin Williams' name came up, and he actually commented on it. I was like, I mean, they've done this to me twice now, so
it's not.
Like, I don't know anything.
I'm not buying into this.
Yeah, nobody's talked to me, but like, who knows with this place? But yeah, Jack Nicholson obviously played the Joker in Tim Burton's Batman, and
made epic money off of it.
The way he was able to leverage that partially was because of the fan interest.
The merchandising, yeah.
When they heard that Jack Nicholson was going to play the Joker, they had this huge reaction to it, and you could see it at that because like cons and stuff were becoming a thing.
They were basement stuff still around that time, but it was still like the nerd news. And was a big deal.
You could put a finger to that pulse, and like that's what they use as a negotiating tactic for Jack Nicholson to be like, okay, I'll do this movie. I'm going to make money off of it. I'm going to make money off the merchandising of it.
$60 million,
and I'm going to make money off of Batman Returns.
Dude, I didn't know he had points on Returns.
Dude made money off of Batman Returns.
I know that when all was said and done, he pulled like over $60 million.
Yeah, he got paid.
Wonderfully, by the way. He played that role.
Oh, he's great.
Fantastically. Gave, I think, a new a new view of his range. What I was also talking about, though, was the actual opposite reaction of Michael Keaton's casting.
Oh, yeah. Where
there were letters, like a letter writing campaign for people saying they didn't want Michael Keaton as Batman. And I think he holds up as an interesting Bruce Wayne Batman comment. I've never viewed him as being strong. No matter what. Like him holding a dude over
his first scene.
Yeah. It's like, I can see Robert Wool is clearly a lot taller than you, so I don't.
There's a lot of and you can find these articles archived on the internet, but yeah, there are a lot of like op-eds and like letters to the editor and stuff, and it's the same, like, is he making a comedy? Because the before Tim Burton's Batman in '89,
it was Pee-wee, right?
The last, Pee-wee and Beetlejuice.
Okay, which were comedies.
But Batman specifically, the last film representation they had of Batman was the '60s show.
Yeah.
Which was this goofy, gonzo, over-the-top, satirical thing.
That Neil Adams and Denny O'Neil had to fight to save Batman in the '70s by bringing him back to what he was.
Sure. And then also having the Joker, like, be involved with OPEC and like
during the
70s
during
the
death in the family with Jim Aparo, I believe, was the artist on that one, which is like a really like kind of not what you'd think for like when Batman was generally viewed in the 70s and early 80s as being campy. I remember watching that show as a kid. Like, that was what everyone said. Yeah. And meanwhile, in the comics,
like Joker's with Al Qaeda.
Yeah, he got diplomacy through, I'm guessing it was like Iran or something like that at the time.
So, yeah, because it's the 80s.
Where he had diplomatic immunity, so he could beat a boy to death.
Could beat Robin to death with a crowbar and then blow his ass right up.
Oh, just drawn torturously well. So then you get 1989 Batman, and it's this like, the announcements were there were announcements, but like the posters were just like the bat symbol.
Right. Leading up to it, people were worried that it was going to be campy again. It was going to be campy and stupid. And then they hear Michael Keaton is cast. Michael Keaton is a comedian.
Yeah, he was
and a comic actor at that point.
Great comic actor.
Yeah, and so the everybody's line was Mr. Mom is going to be Batman.
Yeah.
But they released that trailer, and it's the only trailer you can find. It's a special feature on the Blu-ray. You can easily find it on YouTube. It's the only trailer they made, to my knowledge, theatrically, but it's
back in the good old days.
It's something they cut together real fast to show at Comic-Con.
And that was the I'm Batman, right?
Yeah. There's no music. It's just a bunch of like scenes cut together, and that's, to my knowledge, it's the only trailer they ever made. And they showed it to show them, no, this is the movie that we're making. It's this dark thing that has a lot of the artistic like sensibility of the books. Like, for better or worse, Tim Burton said that his like favorite version of Batman is The Killing Joke. Not a great story, but you can absolutely see that the look of Burton's Batman comes from The Killing Joke. Like, it's the same colors and it's the same kind of.
I love the irony that when Kevin Smith and Tim Burton had that little feud for a while, and the end of his Planet of the Apes was exactly a plot point in Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob comic. And so on a lark, somebody like a reporter said something to Tim Burton. He's like, anyone who knows me knows I don't read comic books, and I would never read something from Kevin Smith. And so he goes, oh, you don't read comics? That explains Batman. Like, that's such a great.
Yeah, he just took the look of
and he made it his own, which is director. That's a director's job, is to take something and make it their own.
Yeah,
I do not want a direct translation, A to B of your that's not going to work.
No,
maybe Sin City might be the only time that would have worked, and that's because you didn't know anything about the characters,
right?
But like, comics to movies have to have a director's interpretation, and I think Tim Burton was a good.
This is my favorite Batman movie. It's one of my favorite movies, period.
Yeah, you and I have poked so many holes and flaws into.
Oh yeah, it's wonderful. It's a wonderful film,
and there's a different view of that movie in your 30s than when you are 8.
Yeah, it seemed when I was 8.
Because, by the way, it came out against Ghostbusters 2.
And Indiana Jones.
Oh, they that was all. Wow.
When I was a kid, it seemed like the most adult, serious, like brooding film.
Yeah.
And it really...
They were a week apart, by the way.
They were a week apart. Okay.
June 16th was Ghostbusters and June 23rd was Batman.
Solid. Yeah, that really, like, Batman really affected me.
It's going, yeah. Well,
Like-
it also was a great movie.
It's a good movie. It really, for seeing it so young, how old was I?
You would have been 7?
6.
6 or 7?
I was 6.
Because I was 7 to almost 8.
Okay, yeah, I was definitely 6. So that sort of kind of showed me what movies about superheroes could be. Like movies about things that I liked could seem adult and serious and profound in a lot of ways.
Which is fascinating because pretty soon you are going to be let down hard after 1989.
Yeah.
Because it's going to get silly. Not just Batman, but like what this
Everything.
leads to.
Everything.
One of the things that you and I can't stop talking about
Right.
is how much of a raging psychopath
Batman.
Michael Keaton's Batman is.
He is. He's also an excellent Batman.
He is.
I think he is my favorite Batman.
Because of the way he delivers the lines and everything.
the way he's just stone faced. Like he does the voice, but it's very subtle
Yes.
but effective.
Yep.
Um,
I'm going to agree. His non-verbiage
it's great.
is really great.
His presence in the suit is great.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
one. I always thought the design of his suit was fantastic, if not a little.
It was jarring at first because it's all black, and
Yeah.
he's never been that.
It was
in
always
the
the black,
comics.
the gray and blue.
Gray and
yeah.
blue. So at first it was like
But that makes way more sense.
it makes yeah. If you're gonna be dressed as a bat, like galloping across rooftops, sneaking up on bad guys at night,
Hiding
you're
in
not
the
gonna wear
shadows,
fucking
yeah.
blue,
Yeah.
you ass.
Yeah, but he is certainly a raging psychopath,
He's a maniac.
which people seem to ignore. That fucking he is straight up murderer.
Yeah, he
In
just
spite of the fact that he seems like he doesn't, well, like he tries to save Jack Napier in the first
Oh,
one.
yeah, he does.
And it's like, oh, he did. And then you see him later driving into Access Chemicals,
and
which was the base of operations.
dropping a grenade into a man's crotch.
He drops a grenade. There are several
Yeah,
thugs,
right.
and he murders
Yeah.
several
People. He blows
Several
up a
people.
chemical facility that we see empties into the river. So he's,
I didn't even think about.
let alone incinerating that amount of toxic material. So like the incinerated gas just goes up into the atmosphere around Gotham. It's like all that runoff that he's created, like blowing up these reservoirs or whatever tanks they have in there. It's going to just dump out of the Gotham River.
And then
He's created a major environmental problem.
and then he murders several men in a church.
Yes.
When he's fighting the Joker's goons, they die. Or at least most of them die. At least the guy that he throws down the shaft after smashing his face into the bell is going to die.
Crushing his skull against the bell, and then he falls, and that guy's dead.
The
The
guy
guy who falls to the floor, dead.
He's definitely
That's not
dead.
Batman's fault, to be fair.
True.
But that guy's dead.
But yes.
Also, when he's swooping in his bat jet, he just straight up shoots several people.
With 2 Gatling guns.
Yeah, he shoots a couple of thugs.
I love
a-
that people forget there's a glean of amnesia that people like to put on this movie when they view someone like Affleck's Batman, and they're like, Batman doesn't kill. It's like, motherfucker.
Batman has exclusively killed in every movie you've ever seen him in.
Yeah, the Batman and Robin
is the only one.
And
Yeah.
even then, he puts Mr. Freeze in there, and he's like, go ahead, do what you want.
Yeah, right.
To frail
Yeah,
ass
he
Uma Thurman.
he
To
puts
pre-Kill
Uma
Bill
Thurman in-
Uma Thurman. She's
Right.
not plucking an eye out of Arnold's fucking head. It is one of those movies, 89 Batman, it's a cultural touchstone.
Very much so.
that you and I mean, you've seen it way more than I've probably seen it 24 times.
I've
You've
seen
probably
it
seen
100
it
times.
at
Easily.
least 100, yeah.
Easily.
And I find myself, he has a bat cave with a bat in a cage in it.
Yeah. It's a cave full of bats, and then there's a single cage with a single bat in it. That's like on the platform. He's like, that's the special bat.
That's the display bat.
That's the money bat.
But like how, like the bat clearly can't move in that it's a very small cage.
Yeah, it's a little bird cage.
Yeah. And he has it trapped. Sure, this is probably a metaphor for something like, oh, look at me, I'm Batman, and I'm trapped in a cage of my own creation.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time,
I think the bottom isn't in the cage, which helps the metaphor, though, because it's a thing where you can leave at any time, but I want to.
Okay.
But
he also
still,
sleeps upside down.
He sleeps in gravity boots. What the hell is that?
That will kill you. You will die if you do that.
He drives his rocket car down this expansive tunnel that he has built, and then it comes to a stop in his secret lair. That there's no lights, there's no railing. He doesn't even have one of those tennis balls that, like, you know where to put your car up to.
Stop the garage
it's just
tennis
like,
ball.
it's just like an edge of this chasm that he pulls up into. Doesn't tell Vicky Vale about it. He lets
like
her
looking at her, spraying her in the face.
He's like looking at her, waiting for her to get because he gets out and like is over by the light switch, and he's waiting for her to step like close to the edge, and then he hits that shit. He's like, yeah,
he's getting off on freaking people the fuck out.
Of course he does.
Like that's
he
totally
lives for that
a part
shit.
of it. Yeah,
like
showing up like. You know when you're like gonna surprise someone and you get that tingle in your stomach when you're just like, oh, I can't wait to see. That's Batman all the time. Like he fucking is so tingly because he's in the shadows watching a mugging.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wait till you see your face.
He is watching a mugging from 130 stories in the air.
And then he's like, I'm going to crush this guy's spine.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump on top of him from a crazy distance.
I'm going to beat both of these men severely.
And now that we know about concussions, most of those men have killed themselves and possibly their families.
Well, here's what we have. In the very beginning of the film, we have the married couple and their son with a map because he's a huge nerd, but also a responsible nerd. They're trying to navigate their way through Gotham City,
which is where they live,
presumably. It's like we got to cut over to 7th. 7th is that way. It's you don't know where you are.
And they're like, let's cut down Crime Alley.
Right? Yeah. Let's see where there's there's a nun from the 1930s is in that alley.
That is a weird alley.
It's a weird alley.
It's like the Mos Eisley Cantina.
It's the Mos Eisley of alleys. And they get robbed by two guys who are clearly drug addicts. Like their eyes are all fucked up, and I mean, one of them's got an earring, like a crucifix earring. It was the 80s.
The bat.
Come on, give me a break.
Which, by the way, excellently acted. That's like a great.
That's the best way to deliver.
That's a really like the way those guys were great actors.
They're perfect.
Like
they are perfectly cast.
I watched that and I'm like, whereas I always felt like Bob Lagoon was somebody's friend.
He's Jack Nicholson's friend.
Is he?
He is 100% Jack Nicholson's friend.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he talks about it in the making of. Tim Burton came to him because obviously Jack Nicholson's the biggest star they had in this film. Yes. And also Tim Burton is kind of a newbie director. He has one hit under his belt this time. It's Beetlejuice. It was kind of a surprise hit. Dude, Beetlejuice is a weird-ass movie that's very hard to classify.
Yeah, it's watching Beetlejuice, by the way, side quest here.
Sure.
Watching Beetlejuice now, you're like, what the fuck is this movie? How did it do well?
It's great.
It is. It's an exercise in insanity.
Oh, yeah. It's a movie that is pure vision. Like, you're like, this is the responsibility of a single man.
You're watching it and you're like, this holds up?
Yeah.
So anyway, Jack Nicholson.
So Jack Nicholson was Tim Burton's advocate on this film. So Burton got a lot of pushback from some people. Jack Palance was kind of a pain in the ass to him. Because Palance is he plays Carl Grissom, and Palance is like a Hollywood legend.
Yeah, he was like the Peter Cushing for Star Wars of that movie. They like got somebody old with a little bit of clout. Wasn't the biggest movie star, but was certainly somebody who had been working in the industry from back before they were talkies, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. I mean, Nicholson's kind of that at this point, too, which is weird.
Yeah.
But,
Nicholson was already 22 years into acting.
He's already Cuckoo's Nest and Chinatown and, all
Easy Rider,
all that good shit. So Tim Burton came to him and was like, we need to fill this role, Bob the Goon. This can be a friend role if you have somebody in mind, because it's a very small role. Bob barely has any lines.
Yeah.
And all of his scenes, not all of them, there's the one scene in the alley, but for the majority, all of his scenes are with Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, they're generally ensemble scenes.
So it's like, this can be a friend. He's like, oh, I've got a guy. So yeah, that's literally his friend.
Oh. I like Bob the Goon because
Bob the Goon is great.
He got an action figure.
He did, and he kicks.
He's a kicking action figure.
His action figure, his attack is he kicks. He doesn't kick a single time in the film.
Not once.
That's his action figure, though.
It is. It sure is. Yeah. He does have a knife in the movie,
and
you could easily make the action figure pull up a knife.
Mm-hmm. He does have. He comes with a knife and a hat, and it's great.
It's funny in that the scene of Bob the Goon where like everybody gets their ass kicked and he's got the knife.
Yeah.
And Batman's like,
yeah, come on, buddy.
Come on. And he's just like, fucking drops the knife and runs. Which, by the way, don't drop the knife and run. You might need the knife.
Right.
You don't know what's around the corner. You could stab Batman in the fucking face if you turn the corner and there's a bat.
He got 2 blocks down. It's like, fuck, I shouldn't have.
God, that was my dad's knife.
That cost like $50.
That's a nice knife.
It was a good knife, man.
The Joker got me that knife. He does not handle problems well.
No, he doesn't. There's so much to talk about in this film. I don't even remember where we were even at. We were talking about Michael Keaton was.
How insane it's an exercise. This movie is an exercise in insanity, and I guess maybe the controlled version of insanity, which would be Batman, versus the unbridled version of insanity, which would be the Joker.
Right.
Which is somebody who's been holding it in and realizes that everybody's been fucking with him.
Yeah.
And now he's lashing out. It's a very Michael Douglas in Falling Down kind of arc for the Joker.
That's true. I never thought about that until this very moment.
Where
he is a guy that's Jack Napier is very contained and controlled, and then he gets dropped in acid, I guess,
and just lets go.
He gets dropped in clown chemicals.
Yeah. Which, by the way, how great of a surprise! It's like discovering. It's
serendipitous, huh?
It's like how whatchamacallit there, the boner medication, Viagra it's a heart attack medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It was for people that had heart attacks, and they found that the common side effect, meaning 98% of all people experienced like maintained erections. It's like, what a nice surprise. We were making this chemical. We didn't know we could make clowns with it.
Yeah, we didn't know this was clown juice. Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that.
No, he's unbridled. Like, Batman is a contained insanity, and the Joker is unbridled insanity. It's a very yin and yang story, because you're looking at similar types of sociopathy. Sociopathy?
I think it's.
I thought it was sociopathy,
probably. I don't know.
But like, you're looking at a very, because Batman is at least portrayed by Tim Burton as a good version of a sociopath.
Right. He's a person that he doesn't exist when he's not Batman.
Yeah.
Like, he's very much like a Patrick Bateman, not like the murderer, but he's like, I know how to put on the veneer, the mask of a human.
It's very ironic that it's Patrick Bateman.
Right. Yeah, because Christian Bale, obviously.
Bateman Begins. Yeah.
It's probably what got him the role.
I would think so.
That and, fan interest when they were talking about doing Batman v Superman with him and Jude Law. And people were like, oh, shit. He'd be great. Anyway, there's the Bat Cycle. Going back.
Fun neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a great neighborhood. Great neighborhood. That alarm's going to go off for 10 minutes. I forgot what I was talking about.
We were talking about the insanity, and then...
Oh, right, yeah. He puts on the mask of a person. Like, he has that charity ball in the beginning, but really all he's doing is spying on Gordon, spying on Harvey Dent, spying on the mayor.
Cameras and listening.
Yeah, that's all he's doing.
Yeah. It's reconnaissance under the idea of
under the guise
schmoozing.
of I'm gonna be this guy, and that was always the fault to me with I think it's great in this movie because Bruce Wayne is nothing. Like he's like a shell basically. Yeah. Like he fumbles in his relationship with Vicky Vale, who is a stalker. Vicky Vale is a stalker. Everyone in this movie is crazy.
Yeah, it's the only person. There are two generally sane people in that movie, and it's Alfred.
Alfred, yeah,
who is consistently the conscience of Batman. That's why he's there.
That's why he exists. Yeah.
And Robert Wall's character, who is the viewer of the movie, which is I need to make sense of all of the insanity that I am seeing in this world. I'm the only person that can see the forest through the trees right now, and nobody wants to listen to me. Mm-hmm. Like, I know about this stuff. I'm researching this stuff. I believe in this stuff. And everybody thinks I'm a fuckface because of it.
Yeah.
And I think that's really interesting, too, where, like, everybody's making fun of him. They have the little Bob Kane cameo.
Did the drawing,
the drawing of the Batman. It's, have you seen this man? Which Bob Kane probably didn't draw.
That's also not Bob Kane who does it.
No,
like, he was supposed to do a cameo, but wasn't able to physically do it that day. So they just had him in quotes do that drawing. Who the fuck knows?
But the drawing was supposed to be by him.
Yeah, it's got his signature in the bottom.
Bob Kane famously did not draw his drawings. He hired a lot of people to do that and paid them very well.
Sure.
There's a lot of artists that have ghost artists that work in a studio for them, and they don't pay them nearly as well as Bob Kane did. So I will at least give him the credit.
Give him that credit.
For as much as I don't
He's
like Bob Kane.
He's not a Jim Davis.
No. Or there are... Never mind. I can't talk about current working
don't do
comic book artists. That is my world, and I do not want to be excavated.
We can talk all the shit we want to on Bob Kane because he's dead.
And he was a dick.
And he was an asshole.
Yeah. But yeah, so like Robert Wuhl and Alfred serve as sort of the eyes, one a knowing eye and one a sort of curious eye.
Robert Wuhl plays Knox, the reporter. It's just for...
Who's just like, trying.
They say he can't be killed. They say he drinks blood. I say you're full of shit, Knox. Yeah. Fucking Jack Porkins. William Hootkins is in this movie.
Oh, man.
He plays
Eckhart.
He kills it as Eckhart.
You ain't got no future, Jack.
You an A1 nut boy, and Grissom knows it.
See, you know what's funny though is that is sort of an example of really the cueing into the idea that the Joker is, or that Jack Napier is kind of a joke to everybody but Jack Napier.
Yeah,
I mean he's having an affair with Grissom. Grissom finds out
with Grissom.
With Jerry Hall, whose character's name
Alicia.
Yeah. And then everybody around him is just like, this guy's a fucking loose cannon. He's got to go. And he's always been like held back. He's always been, you know, a guy who's clearly a genius. And they say his background is in chemicals and chemistry.
Yeah.
And I think
art.
Yes. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Aptitudes include art and chemistry.
Yeah. So then once he knows he's in an assassination pinch because he's pinched by the cops. Who are going to kill him.
Yes.
He knows this is going to happen.
Yeah, because they show up.
Which is why he shoots Eckhart.
Right.
Because he's just like, I'm fucked anyway.
Yeah.
I might as well go. And then Batman, who everybody, once he meets Batman, all they know about Batman is that he fucking kills people even though he doesn't kill people.
Probably. Like, they don't, there's a lot, the movie starts... admirably, where Batman has been Batman for some time. We get his origin in flashbacks, but like... It's another thing that makes this film unique because they understood that most people are aware of how
context clues.
Batman became Batman. We don't need to go super into it. It's just let's just start where he's already there.
We don't need an entire movie about how he begins.
There's rumors about him, like no, I heard about what happened to Johnny Gobbs. Like, you know, we started the two muggers on the roof where they're talking about like, oh, he fucking drained all the blood out of a guy's body and threw him off a building.
They are your chorus, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what they are. The two households both alike in dignity.
Right. The two guards in the beginning of Hamlet.
They're the guys giving you the Star Wars screen crawl in the beginning.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're telling you what's going on. And that is, I think, good too. The idea, and something that I always hoped that Marvel would do, and they just won't, is to just allow the viewers to accept context clues.
Spider-Man Homecoming. They're like, we're not going to do Uncle Ben again.
That's actually
we know that you guys know.
Yeah, and that's I think important too.
Yeah.
To be able to do that.
But yeah, so he fucking blows Eckhart. He's about to shoot Gordon. And then Batman swoops in and kicks a gun out of. That's great. He comes in, he kicks the gun out of his hand and grabs him by the scruff and picks him up. And then Nicholson's like, Jesus. It's like the greatest reveal of Batman. It's like, here's this fucking lunatic comes out of nowhere dressed like that.
Yeah, like a pageantry of
drop kicks
violence.
your gun like fucking away and then lifts you into the air like with the strength of 3 men. You're like, what the fuck is this?
I've never related that reaction. It's funny that you bring that up because I've never thought about that. Like, Jesus. Like, I thought it was reacting to the character as a whole, but it might just be just the sheer strength of one man to lift you above the ground.
It's all of it. Jack Napier's given a lot of information to process in a very small amount of time in that scene.
That is such a fantastic point. I've never deconstructed it to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, what can your brain process?
Right.
And how will that affect you for the remainder of your life? That something that is almost, they still believe him to almost be like above human.
A lot of people aren't even sure if he's real at this point in the film. And then
not only is he real, but he ninja kicked my gun out of my hand and then hoisted me in the air without throwing his back out. It's insane.
Yeah, there's a lot
It's
happening.
super insane. And I'm going to try to shoot him? Like,
he does, and then Batman's like, nope, and then throws the bullet right back into his goddamn face.
yeah, which that's a little bit. I would have hoped that Batman, I think one of the mistakes is that Batman should have been a little more active in the accidental creation of the Joker. Instead of just blocking a bullet, and that's kind of how it happens, because then the glass shatters in his face.
Is it the glass or is it the bullet?
No, it's the glass, because it hits one of the pressure gauges.
It hits a gauge, yeah.
And the glass hits him in the face, and that's what sends him off to the side.
Oh man, I've been going for 30 years now thinking the bullet hit the gauge and ricocheted off and hit him in the face.
No, it's the glass.
That makes more sense because
getting shot in the face.
And then because later on the plastic surgeon's like, you have to understand the nerves were completely severed, Mr. Nate. So glass would cause more the bullet would be more of a singular thing. It wouldn't damage the nerves in your entire face.
That also adds to the interesting aspect of pain tolerance, which I never really thought about when the nerves are severed.
Oh yeah,
in the face. That not only will it create the smile because the nerves create, by severing that, but it also getting punched in the face a whole bunch is going to hurt a lot less.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's just like that might be just a nerd being like, oh, it's like in Kick-Ass.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I mean, it's also just, the Joker is supposed to be like Batman, somebody who's just pure will.
And you need a reason for the forced smile. You have to. You can't not.
They give us a cursory explanation. I think I like that this movie, this version of the Joker is very in tune with the Killing Joke style or like the comic style.
The gentleman psychopath.
Super operatic.
Yes.
This movie is very operatic.
He's very tuxedo-y, very, very like old-timey gangster dressed in a suit.
Mm-hmm. He still
old
does.
World.
Yeah.
But new crazy.
Right. Yeah. New money, new crazy. He is very new money in this.
Oh my God.
Yes. He's very theatrical. It's still recognizably the Joker, obviously, because he still does his jokes.
Yeah.
But I like that his plan is Smilex gas.
Right?
That's very classic Joker.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that they then reincorporate. I mean, that was originally sort of tied into like the Jokerfish comic, which then became a classic episode
of the animated series.
Animated series. But the idea that he's also incredibly vain. that there's a vanity to the Joker.
Yeah.
And that he wants this sort of immortality.
That's a running theme in the film. Like this first scene you see him in is when he's watching Harvey Dent give his Billy D. Williams is Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Again, the reason Billy D. Williams signed up was with the understanding he would be a villain in a later sequel. Yeah. They had to buy out his contract, I believe, for Batman Forever to cast Tommy Lee Jones. Why they didn't just cast Billy D, I don't know. They both have 3 names.
I think I feel like
just to take it in a completely new direction.
I think that's exactly it. Because
but they
you
kept
went from,
Alfred and Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, keeping Alfred, I think, is the one thing to tie that this is a continuation. Which I think is also kind of dumb. I think Batman Forever should have been a reboot. To be 100% honest.
Yeah, or just, I mean, I don't connect it. They don't reference the other movies at all.
But they are.
So.
But they are the same.
Yeah.
Which
it's
is
supposed to be the same continuity.
Yeah. Which is so strange that you're right. And which, by the way, the biggest crime of that first generation of Batman movies is the misuse of Commissioner Gordon.
Gordon is just he's a
fat guy.
He's a doddering comic relief. He's a punchline in the Schumacher films.
Yeah.
And he's barely in the first 2.
Like, for somebody who's been such a crucial part of the Batman mythos to never in 4 films use him as anything but the guy who turns on the symbol.
Yeah.
Like, we won't give in to terrorists.
He gave us a signal.
Other than that.
But yeah, so he's watching Billy D on television, and one of the very first beats we get of him is him adjusting his suit in the mirror, and then Jerry Hall comes up to him and it's
behind.
like, "You look fine." He's like, "I didn't ask," and then like looks at her like, "Get your fucking hand off my suit." Like,
I fucking know. Yeah, he is. He's especially vain, and he's going to bring that into his Joker character, which is awesome.
Yeah, and when in the art museum, he tells Vicky Vale's like, "What do you want?" He's like, "My face on the $1 bill."
Yeah, and I think the paintings of all but the Francis Bacon piece, where they deface everything.
I kind of like it.
Which is, what is it? It was it's the Pope with 2 sides of meat. Is that what the by Francis Bacon, which is in a series, fucking brutally wonderful series of paintings. But they make every masterpiece look like the Joker for a reason. There's a reason that scene is there, and it's to sort of emphasize what happens when you have vanity and insanity at the same time.
Yeah.
And what the dangers of that is to society.
Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah.
Or am I going too deep on that?
No. He definitely does do all of that. Yeah. Just like his main plan is to kill a bunch of people by making them look like him.
Yeah.
Because Smilex gas makes everybody smile.
Yeah, and to get a woman who looks like the last woman that he fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like...
Oh man.
It's something, man.
That reveal used to mess me up as a kid when Alicia takes her mask off and you can see that he's burned the shit out of her with acid.
That never bothered me.
As a kid, it bothered me. I was like, oh!
Never.
Like,
not once. I was like, oh,
gruesome.
That sounds about right. That's why she was wearing a mask.
There was something jarring. Like the art museum scene when everybody gets gassed to death and people are falling face first into their food. Like, that shook me as a kid. Of course, I was 6, but...
I always thought it was like knockout gas. I didn't realize now that it might as well be, sarin. Like,
yeah, that's probably what it is. Like, I mean, he's been messing around with poison gas the whole film.
Yeah, that also, first and foremost, the massacre on the TV murders,
the parade, Gotham's centennial.
No, the actual news anchors.
Oh,
when he's like,
when he poisons the lady
people
on
are
the
dead
air.
in Corto Maltese or something like that, and the lady just starts laughing.
Yeah,
and it's just like, I don't see how this, and she just fucking loses it.
She falls out
dies.
of it. Yeah,
it's such a hilariously macabre scene, and they're talking about the 2 missing models. There are 2 models that have gone missing.
They
right?
died.
Oh, they died.
They died.
Okay, they were dead, and
Candy
then
Walker and Amanda Keeler.
Yes, and then it cuts to the
Joker commercial.
The Joker commercial.
New approved Joker products. And he's like dancing behind the shopping cart.
And it's them.
Yeah,
it's their like
cardboard cutouts
cutouts of them and doing the love that Joker.
Yeah,
And I always remember, and I kind of want to reacquire this. I had a poster of the Joker
I know that
sitting
poster.
down, like tanning with like a fake bird next
Yep.
to him. It's such a great poster.
It was
that
an
really
amazing poster, yeah.
But the chances are you've bought him already.
That's the gag.
Like it's so great.
Yeah, it's really fucking good.
It's a darker movie than I think. It's macabre.
It's very macabre.
It's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up movie. And I think that might be why we got that. Because the Superman movies were never fucked up.
No.
Like, they were good. Like, Superman 1 was good. Superman 2 was all right, too. And then, the other one's not great. Yeah. But, like, you never had something this dark with products that were designed for children.
And marketed aggressively to children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, the movie looks so good, too. Like, that has inspired... I mean, obviously, the animated series is... All the Bruce Timm stuff is
Bruce
directly
Timm and Paul
inspired
Dini,
by Tim Burton. And, like, the character in general now, like, that's the touchstone that people go back to.
Yeah,
whether they
return
realize
of
it or not.
The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's... I mean, it was... I would say...
Frank Miller had already... Dark Knight Returns was in the 80s,
It was
right?
about 3 years before this movie was released, so probably about a year
86?
and a half before. It was 86, so it's probably about a year and a half before production would have maybe started rolling. Even
this had... I'm going to have to redo some research, and we may have to come back around to this movie again, but there's a long production history of this film that began with right after Donner's Superman.
Yeah.
Like, they tried to get this movie made for a decade and a half.
Yeah. It's just...
Several versions of screenplays. Eddie Murphy was going to be Robin at one point.
I remember Marlon Wayans being in the front running for Marlon as well, for Robin during Batman Returns.
Yep.
And the number of people that lost their minds because he was black.
I wasn't aware of any of that stuff because I wasn't plugged into that at that age.
I remember that being a thing. I definitely.
I didn't learn about the Marlon Wayans stuff until a few years ago. So, like, at the time, like, I wasn't, as a little kid, we didn't have the internet, so I wasn't, like, plugged into the production stuff, and I wasn't plugged into, like, the fan or con community or anything like that.
It's interesting to then look at the Batman Returns Robin action figure,
which is just Robin from the comics at that point.
Well, kind of, but it also is, even the way it's painted, but beyond that, it's kind of ethnically ambiguous.
You're right.
Where
he is kind of like brown.
He's a very tan character.
Yeah.
But like the sculpt is very ethnically ambiguous. And it might be just because it's a toy made in 1991.
It could be.
But I always found that to be very fascinating that he almost looked like Hispanic.
You're right. Now that I'm thinking about like the sculpt, I'm like thinking of the way that his head was sculpted, and I'm thinking of Marlon Wayans, and I'm like, that could have conceivably been a sculpt of Marlon Wayans.
I think before they scrapped it, he was the front runner for it.
Well, he got paid for that movie. Yeah. Like, they had him on standby. Like, he still had to. Like,
isn't that nuts?
Yeah, Robin was at a time gonna be in this film.
Yeah.
I'm okay with. It was going to be Eddie Murphy, and then I think they switched directions and were going to make him like a younger kid.
Yeah.
But that obviously didn't happen.
I would like to see a Batman and Robin film where the Robin is a child.
Yeah.
I want that.
I like, Frank Miller's got his problems. I do like the dynamic between Batman and Robin in All-Star Batman. I think that's
where he's like abusive,
where he has him in the car and like the cops are chasing him. He's like, check this out, kid. This is going to be great. And he blows up the car. It's like Batman's a full-on lunatic in All-Star Batman.
All-Star Batman and Robin. The problem with that is that
it's not a great comic.
Frank Miller was battling some rough demons, and it is a bad book.
It's not a good book
with some of the most tremendous polish on it I have ever seen. I think Jim Lee, by doing the artwork on that.
Well, he is editor-in-chief at the time too, right?
He not EIC, he was a VP at the time. That he really came on, him and Scott Williams, his inker, who while Jim Lee is an amazing penciler, Scott Williams does so much heavy lifting in that relationship. That the All-Star Batman and Robin
inks are particularly important for Batman.
Inks, not only are inks important for Batman, but a lot of people don't know how much art inkers do, how much penciling they do, how much
this is a
polishing,
a through joke in Chasing Amy, but
yeah, that's true.
You're a fucking tracer.
Yeah, holy shit. As somebody who, there was a while I was dabbling in a lot of the penciling, and the pencil part is so much easier compared to inking. Inking is such a brutal job.
But yeah, so All-Star Batman is a not great book that has some great moments in it. It's where I'm the goddamn Batman comes from.
Doesn't he have sex with Black Canary?
Yes, he does.
And they leave their costumes on?
Yes, they do.
She's like a fangirl?
Yes. This is all correct.
It's so weird.
It's a garbage book for the most part. But
yeah,
I do like the relationship between Batman and Robin, where he's like an abusive. He like locks Robin in a cave.
He's like a mean older brother.
Or bats.
Yeah,
shit. Like, I survived it. If you're good enough to be my sidekick, you will too. It's like, you're a maniac.
But
you've abducted me.
A Batman with a child Robin, I think. I mean, I guess we're probably winding down.
We can go for a little bit. It's fine.
The idea of a Batman story from the perspective of a child who is taken into this world, because Batman Forever, they got Chris O'Donnell, who's 20.
He's a man, and it's unclear how old but he does mention foster care in that, and like I figured saying I would move in with you would get the chief of police and everything off my back for foster care. I was like, foster care?
You look like you live in a studio apartment.
You're an adult man.
Yeah. Just because you wore a leotard with the circus doesn't mean...
Yeah.
You weirdo.
Yeah. There's going to be an expanse. There'll probably be 14 episodes about Batman Forever. But getting back to Batman, man, there's just so much to talk about with this film.
There's a lot going on. I mean, we've covered general plot points. The Vicky Vale character is interesting. She is in of herself, she's kind of a MacGuffin. She is the girl that everybody wants in this movie
for no reason. Joker,
there's a hell of a reason, because she's goddamn Kim Basinger.
Sure, but like the Joker just becomes singularly obsessed with her.
He likes her art.
Well, he becomes obsessed with her photograph. Yeah. And then I love that scene, by the way, where she brings her portfolio and he's looking at these like, crap.
And then it's the killing fields.
And it gets all the dead people in this revolution. He's like, the skulls, the bodies. I don't know if it's art, but I like it.
Yeah. And then, Robert Wuhl's character, like having a crush on her. And then Bruce Wayne being like, can take her or leave her.
Right. And then Alfred being like, you should marry this girl.
It's been a date.
I guess, man. Date, Alfred, yeah, like they go on one date and she starts fucking following him. And
perhaps you should marry her and welcome her into this insane lifestyle. Yeah. Like, that's abuse by proxy on Alfred's part, because he knows about this psychopath. And he's like, maybe you should bring this innocent woman into this life.
He just lets her into the Batcave. Like,
I thought you would like to see some cool shit,
Master Wayne.
Side note, sometimes I think a lot about that burger he has in Batman Forever with the onion ring on top, and I want to eat it so bad. Perhaps the dogs are hungry. But anyway, I know I keep jumping to Batman Forever.
Yeah.
So the Vicky Vale character, she would be the sort of, if Robert Wuhl's character is sort of the heart of the everyman, she is sort of the eyes of what is being seen from a very close perspective.
Right.
Like, she's the one who's experiencing the insanity all around her. And which I think culminates...
from both the Batman and the Joker, and then also with Bruce.
Because Bruce proves he's a sociopath.
Yes.
Like, he proves... Because he had to lie to her about being away on business, and instead of being like, I can't tomorrow, I got a thing that I have to do.
Right. He couldn't just... Well, I mean, he doesn't want to get into his troubled back, but all he does is go put flowers on the spot where his parents were murdered. Like, it's like, you could have just said, I can't tomorrow. But I get what he's doing, because he's like, I don't want to get close to somebody.
All you can say is, I can't do anything tomorrow. I've got some stuff I got to do. But he needs to lie.
But he says he's going to be out of town for a while. So he's at that moment, he's like, I can't get close to a person because I'm a bat person.
And she's like,
bats are solo.
Yeah. And she's like, oh yeah, we'll see about that.
Right.
I'll chase you down. And he in a way likes that because he likes being chased, maybe.
I don't know. I think it's a writing issue, maybe. I don't know.
It is. There's a problem with it. Yeah, I think we might be diving a little too deep into that.
How do you feel about having the Joker be the person that shot his parents?
I'm neutral on it. It makes sense on a timeline because he's an older Joker.
Mm-hmm.
That would have happened 20 years ago. Or however old they're pretending Michael Keaton is, or 30 years ago. Jack Nicholson's character is nearing 60. The Joker is nearing 60.
Mm-hmm.
So on the timeline, it works. He would have been a just starting out scumbag.
Yeah.
Doing stuff at that level. I'm not against it. I think they should have made him a little too debonair in his 20s.
He is very fashionable.
At that age, I think,
with some serious cheekbones.
Yeah, that actor looks a lot like he had a very Jack Nicholson-y edge.
He did,
to
yeah,
him,
yeah.
Whoever they got.
That I think he's a producer. Actually, he's not really an actor.
Hey kid, you ever danced with the
kid.
devil in the pale moonlight?
He's got that smile, that rictus grin. That's why
Come
they
on,
got
Jack,
him.
let's go.
Is that
See you around,
Bob?
kid.
I think it's supposed to be.
Is it supposed to be Bob? Because
Yeah.
he kind of looks like Bob.
Okay, he might be, yeah.
And he's real not happy with how this robbery turned into a double homicide. Like, he's like holding the pearls like...
It's probably the Bob origin of
Right,
how
yeah.
he's gonna die.
Like, he saw at that moment, he saw his entire life flash before his eyes.
He's like, this motherfucker is gonna shoot me.
Yeah.
And he
and
does.
he does.
That, which, by the way, is also probably the best gag in that whole movie.
It's a good one.
Is that Bob sticks with him and he's so frustrated. He's like, Bob, gun. And he
Hands
takes
him
his
his
gun
gun.
and he shoots Bob, who was the only guy that was really...
like, with him.
Yeah, you have like a circus strongman / bouncer who looks like Jesse Ventura in a jacket.
The boombox guy.
The boombox
The guy whose job it is to carry that jam box.
Boombox guy is awesome because he's also the guy that is beating the shit out of Batman in the church. And then you have Filipino Ninja.
No. The guy. Those are two different guys.
They are. Okay.
Jambox guy is white. The guy that beats him up in the church is black.
Oh, the big black guy. That's right.
Mhm.
Okay. And then there's the Filipino Ninja.
And this Filipino ninja.
Who is a really wonderful character because of how you're like, ooh, mini boss. And then Batman fucks him up so hard at the end.
Well, he fucks him up in the alley, and in the end, he just dies. He falls through the floor. Like, well, all right.
Well, he puts that, like, he has that, which is one of the stupid gadgets, but like the bat arm extender.
Yeah.
To like, don't go there.
I don't understand that gadget because he uses it on the Joker, right? That's when that's how he ricochets the bullet.
I think it just
It's a
blocks off the gauntlet.
Oh, that's right. He just does that.
I think he added that knowing that Ninja was coming back.
Maybe.
I think it was.
Well, he had it the first time because he is just the first time to hit him in the balls in the alley.
Oh, I thought. Oh, does it extend? Check
Maybe.
and see if it extends. I don't think it does. I think he just hits him.
Oh no, right. You're right. He does. It's in the bell tower at the end.
In
where
the
he
bell tower, I think he knows he's like, I'm going to have this flippy piece of shit coming at me. And I think he adds that extender as like insurance against that guy.
Right, because he comes out doing all the flips. He's got the knives in his boots, and he's
Yeah.
like, nope. You're right. Filipino Ninja doesn't fall through the floor. It's a different.
No, he breaks his fucking neck by having him jump into that thing.
Yeah.
And
I love how contextually dependent all of Batman's gadgets are in the Burton films.
I think in that one, you're right. I think it's a lot of him adapting to this new thing. Because it used to be just, I have to wear body armor
because I'm going to get shot
a bunch.
Yeah.
Which to the follow-up of being like, oh, there's a guy that jumps a lot. I'm not necessarily equipped to deal with that with this thing where I can barely move my neck.
Right.
So I need something.
This is all rubber.
I need
all right?
something to fuck a dude up that's jumping at
I
me.
need something to house a flippy dude. Like, what am I going to do that's just like...
That's like a game of gadget chess
Yeah.
where he's moving his
That's part of Batman.
That
I get
is
that.
Well, they even do that in Christian Bale, where he's just like, I need a more mobile.
Yeah, I need to be able to.
I need to see more to the left of me.
Yeah, I need something harder so a dog, for instance, can't bite me.
A lot of dogs base jumping Mr. Wayne.
I'm thinking more of in the second film where his car splits apart into the bullet car, and then he has the jet ski speedboat. Why do you have that?
I mean, the Bat Boat.
Yeah,
that's been around for decades.
But it's like
before.
It's also a jet. It's like designed specifically to go through that sewer tunnel.
Yeah. Well, you could avoid mines with it by going either in the water but then lifting out.
Yeah, that's. I
guess if there are floating mines,
sure. I'm just wondering what situation caused him to create that.
Yeah.
He has a jet in this movie.
He has a jet, the perfect shape of his
that
symbol.
has scissors in it.
That was an interesting choice.
Why have those specifically to deal with gigantic poisonous parade floats?
The parade thing is interesting because you have the Joker punishing Gotham.
Oh yeah,
for its greed.
In a way, I don't think deliberately. I don't think that's his. He just wants to kill a bunch of people.
Well, yeah,
and he knows that money is how to lure them out there.
Yeah, money, money, money. Hubba, hubba, hubba. Who do you love?
Who do you trust?
Who do you trust? Me? I'm out here giving away free money.
And where is the Batman? He's at home washing his tights. Oh, man.
Oh, it's good.
There's a deleted scene where they reveal that all the money is fake Joker bucks.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But they cut that out.
Why bother?
Because why bother? It's unnecessary.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's even funnier that it's real money.
To me, it makes more sense for the Joker as a character. So what the fuck does
it's
he
him
care?
lighting the pile of
money
in the
on
Dark
fire.
Knight. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
I'll steal more money. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and then I had asked several minutes ago now how you felt about the Joker being the one that shoots his parents.
I'm neutral on it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of neutral on it. I don't know. It doesn't add anything, in my opinion. It
does if you don't know how long your movie's going to be.
How long your series is going to be?
How long the series of your movies are going to be, yeah.
That's true.
It's like Star Wars.
Sure.
You can have a definitive ending of guy creates me, I create guy, I have to kill guy.
That's fair.
Which, for a standalone movie, in the pantheon of if Tim Burton had only gotten one movie, if Warner Brothers, if it bombed or something, it's at least complete.
That's true.
Which is unfortunate for everybody that the Joker is killed.
Yeah. Well, there was some stuff in the original draft of Batman Returns that was gonna be much more of a direct sequel to Batman, because as it stands, Batman Returns doesn't have much to do with the first film.
No, it's just the first film happened, and now I'm still living my life.
They reference it one time.
Vicky Vale, right?
Yeah. Who let Vicky Vale into the Batcave? I'm sitting there working. I'm like, oh, hi, Vicky. And they were going to be like street vendors selling pieces of the Batjet. There was going to be a bit where the Joker's body had disappeared from the morgue. So, like, maybe he wasn't dead.
He's not living.
Well, he fell a fucking long way.
With a gargoyle weighing him down.
He would have punched through the earth.
Yeah, and not only that, he would have landed on the gargoyle. Like, that's a thing they forgot. He's not landing flat, which, by the way, would have liquefied him.
Oh, yeah.
But he would have landed on the gargoyle. It was directly below him, dragging him down.
I want to know at what point, because the gag at the end there is that he set off his laughing box to just be laughing. Yeah. When did he turn that on? It had to be at some point during the fall.
I mean, he got punched in the face and threw those chattering teeth out.
That's true.
Like he's
always thinking.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the point of the Joker. Even when facing with his own mortality, that's the joke and that's the last laugh.
Yeah.
And one could say from an artistic standpoint that the Joker's laughing box there is indicative of, by forcing Batman to kill, even though Jesus Christ, he killed plenty
he murdered
at that
plenty
point in time,
at that point.
that by having him compromise his morals, that the Joker
wins.
gets the last laugh.
Yeah. And that's been done in frequent storylines where the Joker does something that forces Batman to kill him. It's like trite at this point, but this is the first time that we'd really encountered that.
Yeah.
In a film.
Other than the Dark Knight, well, in the Dark Knight Returns, he does that where he breaks his own
his own back, yeah,
while laughing. he's paralyzed, and then all he can do is move his head, and his last thing he does while laughing is he breaks his own neck to make it seem like he
Batman
murdered him,
killed him. Yeah, that's a dark ass book.
Yep.
I also like that he at some point put a fake hand in. Here, let me lend you a hand.
Oh yeah, that's so good. Just him like stepping, like dancing while stomping on the bricks and everything. He's so good. It's so funny. That
really
Joker,
entertaining himself.
Like Heath Ledger's Joker was, I think, wonderfully acted. I thought it was
It's
perfect for the Nolan verse.
Sure.
I think the comedy of the insanity of Nicholson's Joker is so good.
It's funny. Yeah.
It's so funny.
He's got great lines. I was sitting in the bath one day when I realized why I was destined for greatness.
It's good stuff. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun and interesting roller coaster of watching crazy people be crazy in different ways.
Yeah. Yes, that's true. I'm trying to think if there's any other major crazy things that happen in the film that we haven't mentioned yet.
The gun, the Joker's pistol.
The Joker's pistol, sure.
It's a cannon, but it's designed out of hilarity.
Right. It's a telescoping pistol.
I don't even think it's telescoping so much as rifle barreled. Like it was that length. He had it in his leg. I always felt like it was always that long.
He pushes it down though. Remember?
Oh, does he?
Yeah,
yeah.
It collapses down and then it becomes a bang flag. So that's a multi-purpose gag right there.
How much did that cost to make?
A lot. Like he spent a lot of time.
The Joy Buzzer?
The Joy Buzzer's great. I love that sequence.
He could have just made money selling those.
Sure.
You don't need to be in the drug trade or whatever you were doing. They never actually say what the crimes are, do they?
No. I don't know
drugs? Must be if he's chemicals.
I assume so. Like, why would a chemical plant be so heavily involved? That's never been clear to me. Like, why? Like, they're planning a raid on Axis Chemicals. If Harvey Dent ties us to Axis Chemicals, we're dead and buried. I'm like, why?
It must be drugs.
What's happening there?
They're making drugs.
Yeah, probably. What else would they do?
Clown juice.
Clown juice. It's a byproduct of cocaine is this clown juice.
I wonder if, now that we're bringing that up, I wonder if he fell into some kind of
liquid cocaine
or like acid or something like that.
Like LSD.
I mean,
I
never thought about that.
Maybe checks out.
If they're making drugs and he fell into a vat of drugs.
He's like, I'm a clown! like, sure, man.
You never know. It wasn't heroin, that's for sure.
Nah. There would have never been a crime spree if it was heroin.
Just a napping spree.
Just with the Joker laying on a couch for 2 hours.
It's looking like Brad Pitt in True Romance.
Yeah.
Getting shot by James Gandolfini or whatever.
I'll get around to the crime wave.
I'll kill him. I'll kill everyone.
I'll
tomorrow.
kill it. It'll be great. The Smilex. Yeah, I guess we can wrap this one up.
Yeah, I mean, we can revisit.
We're gonna. I assume we're gonna touch back.
I think as we get, this was more of. I think because we're a pilot, we can work on our outlining of this.
Sure.
But this is. I like the depths under which we can attack these films.
There's a lot. There's a surprising amount that isn't even necessarily intentionally there, but that's what happens when you make a thing.
Yeah.
Things
evolve, and I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks everyone for listening.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just follow us on stuff.
Follow us on Twitter. You guys know that the things, the handles, you know where to find us. Take it easy. Yeah, thanks for listening.
Hell yeah.
Never rub another man's rhubarb.
Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at Justin T. Brown and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info. Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.